Okay, let's get our artboard set up so we can export this, and then we'll get our folder structure set up for just the whole project management side of things. So the artboards, you might be saying, hey, I've already got an artboard, let's export this. Well, when it comes time to actually export this, we can quickly batch export based on artboard. So what I do is I will bring over this final full color logo version. I'll alt drag a copy over to the right here. And remember, we had that letter M as our gap space. So what I'll do is I'll get my direct selection tool. I'll click once in here, Command C to copy, Command V to paste. And now when I go to move this, I can just drag it down, and I'll drag another copy, and I'm going to change the color here so it doesn't get confused with everything else. I'll drag another copy up here. My smart guides tell me when it's aligned here. And we're using the height of this M as the measurement. So on the sides, since we're using the height, I actually need to turn it sideways here. So we're still using that height to set it off. Now I'm going to hit Shift O to get my artboard tool, and I'll just hover over here until my smart guides tell me that I'm aligned. I'll drag down. There we go. And now I've got a canvas, or an artboard rather, with the proper amount of spacing around this logo. Does that make sense? Hope so. All right, so there's one version, and then now what I can do is hit Shift O, and then I'll click and drag down, and that won't come with me this time because I have this option up here, the Move Copy Artwork, turned off. I'll hit Escape, and then I'll come over here and grab this other logo, and I'll alt drag a copy over here. And this time I'm just going to hit this little drop down to align to artboard, and I'll just center that. Oops. Okay, so here's a good example. I drug over a copy, but what I'm going to do now is hit X to cut it from here, because if we look really, really close, there's a subtle black stroke around that artboard, which means that's the one that's targeted right now. If I click once on this artboard, that black line comes in here, and you probably can't, I mean, it's really, really difficult to see. But anyway, it's there. You can tell which artboard is targeted there. Now with this one targeted, I could hit Command V to paste it on that artboard, and now I can center it to this artboard here. All right, now what we need to do, the next stage, is name these artboards. So I'll hit Shift O to get my artboard tool again. And since I'm on this one already, I'll just go ahead and name this artboard, and we'll call it One Color. One Color. And we'll name this one Full Color. And we'll name this guy Details. Okay, and then I'm going to come down to my artboards window and make sure that we're in order, and we are. Details, Full Color, and One Color. This is just for when we export a PDF. That way it puts the stack in order, so we see the details page first, and then the full color, and then the one color. You can drag and drop to rearrange, but the export will be on that. All right, and our artboards are set up and ready to go. I'm going to hit Command S real quick just to save where we're at. And then now let's take a look at our folders and our file structure. So typically what I export will be Illustrator files, EPS files, PDFs, JPEGs, sometimes TIFFs, and PNGs. So let's dive in and learn what those are real quick. First of all, I'm going to set up my file structure. So I've got my AI folder, and Illustrator is just the native file we use to create this, so it'll be editable if I ever want to get back into this and edit it later. I'm going to right click and make a new folder, and we'll call this one EPS. This stands for Encapsulated PostScript, and basically it's a lot like an Illustrator file, but it's a little more generic. So guys who might have older software, a lot of times like sign guys or people who make apparel, might not have the most recent version of software. They might not have Illustrator at all, but an EPS is still a vector-based program, and you can use that file to work with these shapes. So I'll send them an EPS. And now what I'm going to do, this is just a blank folder, so I'm just going to hit Command D to duplicate it. I'm going to hit Return on my keyboard to jump right into renaming it. And I'm going to call this PDF, Command D to duplicate, Return to change the name on this one. We'll call this one JPEG-Web, Command D to duplicate, Return to change the name here. And we'll call this one JPEG Print. Command D to duplicate, Return to change the name. We'll call this one PNG, and that's probably good enough. We could do TIFFs and we could do some other things, but this is more than sufficient to get what we need here. So now we've got all these files set up and ready to go. In the next lesson, what we're going to do is actually learn how to batch export all of these files and make our life a lot easier.